Alright, everyone. So here is a video, and this is a very long video, so this is a recap of the last Council of Voices episode, as well as a bunch of theories, and this is all about the notary game. Now, if you have not seen it, major spoilers up ahead. So, yeah, the first one was made 1 year ago, and the other 10 months ago, I thought I'd recap them and then I'd go briefly over to 7 as it came out yesterday. So let's get started. So first off, we start off with the characters talking, and they were invited by Judge. However, the judge is not there, and we get introduced after they were knocked out. Talking ensues as they wake up and wonder what's going on. And that's when we get to meet our amazing host for this notary game, Zero. Zero explains the basic of the notary game. And there's one that I find very, very interesting. He explains the fifth one is hard to find, however, there is only 4. So he basically explains that there are only 4 rooms and the 5th one's hard to find. And goes over how only 3 people can be in one room at a time. Dead bodies don't count anymore. Yeah, that's surprising. Dead bodies don't count. Yes, dead bodies don't count as of right now because, well, I mean, that would mean 7 counts, and, he may have never checked out, but he's dead. No way he can sign back in. And he explains there are 9 people with 9 keycards. So the keycards they have forbidden actions, which I will be getting more into later on in the episode because I have a lot of theories from my friends who have helped me out puzzling everything together. But each forbidden action comes with a card. So we have 9 people. So far, actually I can't say that until like the end of the episode, but that's okay. So they all have, each area is different. So in the light blue room goes 7, Joshua and Togami go into. In the yellow room, which looks orange on here, goes Chiaki, Mayuri, and Nagito. In the lobby stays Moshirige, and in the dark and green room goes Donald and Monokuma. We later find out that, because spoilers, obviously, if you haven't seen episode 7, you better go see it. Moshirige goes into the pink room, which makes obvious. So that's 4, but where's the 5th keycard? I will be introducing that idea in the theories. Which then goes into Judge freaking out about where Komeda is, and he gives us some very interesting information, talking about what Komeda's favorite position is. Judge, we do not need to know about your life with Komeda. It's very inappropriate, first of all, but also we don't need to know what you guys do in the bedroom. Yes, he actually said what his favorite position was. Which I don't even get how you do that, but okay. And he basically introduces the bad boys, which consists of Kirigiri voice, the bad voice, and Fulbright. Fulbright then comments about how it should have been named the Justice Squad. Yeah, Fulbright, it should have been called the Justice Squad. It was, and then it brought us to a very funny scene. they were like, well, Soichi couldn't be here. He was caught up in something. Because there were like four of them. Soichi then goes to a house, and Soichi's in a harem with Kaede, and him and Kaede were doing it. And then Kaito asks Soichi, when is it my turn? So Kaito has a harem with Kaede and Soichi. Beautiful. So they ask the judge questions, and he remarks about the system, and he also talks about, you know, they just need pictures on who's missing so they know who to look for. Well, why does he and he goes automatically to say, oh, well, I have pictures of made on my phone and all this junk about Kameda. And then all they want is just some help on finding out who it is and what they could do. Meanwhile, back in the memory game, Donald and Monokuma are together. Monokuma had no idea that Donald followed him and was just really mad at this point. Donald then remarks about calling him Mickey, saying he serves Mickey. He said, I cannot let them know your true identity, sir. Which Donald was very stupid. But this also relates to his forbidden action. He cannot perform any magic. Which that will also be brought up in the theories part of this video because that's a lot to cover. Which is really interesting as Monokuma wanted him to basically set them free with his magic. We then get put back to Joshua, who is fed up with Seven and Togami's bickering and walks off to go explore the room and tells Togami and Seven to go explore the other room, which they do after bickering a bit more, and they end up into a room with a kitchen, a door with like a panel, and there was a lock or a combination on the side, and then they had a pantry. This takes us to Chiaki and her group. So Chiaki explains how big the room is, and they begin to look in the books. All the books, however, are blank. That's a little strange, right? Well, they move the books, and this is what appears: a single pearl in a sea of knowledge. They were curious. Chiaki asking, what could this mean? And Nagito was like, leave this to me. Now you may be wondering why Nagito said leave this to him. It's because of his powers. He has the power of BSing everything. So he has incredible luck when it comes to a lot of things that he shouldn't have luck with. This led Miyuri and Chiaki to go to the next room as they try to figure something else, leading to Chiaki gasping in excitement and happiness as she sees a game room. Sorry, I thought that had the picture. Miyuri remarks on how big. After Chiaki is like gasping in awe about the room, Miyuri remarks about a pair of bananas. She attempts to pick up one, and then a video game appears called Slugger. What is Slugger, you may ask? Well, it's the game that, if you know the frog game where you have to make it across the road as a frog, so Frogger. That game. It's a parody of Frogger, but it's called Slugger as it's a slug or a snail trying to get across the road. But it's very, very slow. And Chiaki attempts it. That brings us back to Seven and Togami bickering again. But this time it was about the continuity of a plant. this plant was in the obvious, and Seven's like, it's gotta be this thing. I've actually been in an Nonary game. This is very obvious. Well, Togami refutes and says it's the door with the huge panel and everything. And as Seven moved the plant, he got a keycard received. And Togami was pissed off. I mean, you've never seen someone so mad that a plant was the reason than you did with Togami. Then we go to Joshua looking at this picture. The picture will come up later. And it was confusing. Why he kept staring at it. But it'll soon make sense. And he kept thinking, what is this? It looks strange and out of place. And it is out of place. You'll see why soon. So then it goes back to Seven, and he found the pantry of food and talking to Kagami about the rations and everything. And it was a nice conversation, basically, but still they don't like each other, so there's that. Then we get into Kameda and him BSing a lot of things, and basically he threw his paper plane. We get a montage of the paper plane, and we get Chiaki getting very frustrated at the game because she cannot beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. No, beat it. So she kept getting an end game. Yeah, I just made a reference. Deal with it. But being very frustrated at this end game for her, she just keeps trying even though she's severely frustrated. No one can keep a gamer from playing her game. And I mean no one. Kameda finds the book that it contains what is supposed to solve the game. And he opens it, and we get this picture, and I love it that he's taking something from the source material and using it in his own little game. That's something I like about Nicob. He doesn't stray away from the source material, which makes me so happy he used this because it's such a fitting picture for Kameda in this situation. He then goes to Chiaki and gives her the cheat code to the game that can help her win after she's so frustrated in the game, and Miori kind of suggesting she stops. She used a cheat code, and the cheat code got them the win. Or got Chiaki the key card. Which, yes, she has a key card now. Woohoo! Great for Chiaki. Well, also not great for her in the end, because, yeah. Episode 7, maybe. We then get back to the council trying to figure out where have the voices gone, where are they, what's going on with them, are they okay? Looking at the footage, the timestamp is 16:15. So I can't tell you what time that would be because I do not know military time. Surprisingly enough, I do not know military time. However, this was the time before they got taken. And then there was a timestamp. It jumped, I think it was 16:22. So it means it took him 6 minutes to move 9 bodies out of the council room. My question is, why doesn't the judge have cameras on the outside? Like hidden cameras. That might make it easier. The judge basically starts explaining Project Eve and where, or not explaining Project Eve, he mentions it once and explains where they keep the files. That being said, he does bring up Project Eve, but no one seems to question it, or further question it. He says it's been under lock and key. I wonder why. We then get a flashback, or we then get to go back and to find Seven's dead body found by Joshua. Seven died from his poison, as they deduce that he passed away due to the poison committing his forbidden action. As Kamita will soon explain. As they started to figure out what the forbidden action was, trying to guess what it was, they found out that his forbidden action was most likely, and it makes the most sense, is not to hit people or hit anyone, which makes sense. He can't hit Kamita, which would seem odd for everyone. Otherwise, he would have gotten killed. Seven is a smart man. He wouldn't stray away from getting killed. He wouldn't stray away from hitting Kamita unless it was necessary for his survival, seeing as he was the smartest one and already have been in a notary game, those being his specialty. So why would he die out of everyone? I'll bring that up later. Kazuichi then starts explaining he did something, he was fixing everything, and sorry I'm not going into so much detail, this was so many hours I worked on this. It's like 10 o'clock right now, and I worked on this from 7 o'clock to 10. And he just starts explaining everything and how he can fix it and no one can hack into this again, which that's good. Or no one can get into this again, and like the judge says, good job for doing something useful. That's the only thing useful you've done since you first got here. Which I'm gonna just say that is actually pretty much true for a lot of people on the council, such as Donald. Donald has done nothing. Donald can go. I don't care about him. He's probably gonna die next because of a theory I have, and yeah, I have a lot of theories at this point. So we soon get to see they actually have to restrain Togami because he tries to leave the conversation as they started accusing. They say, oh, well, yada yada, they would have a big bruise. And Joshua, he grabs onto Togami's arm and he winces in pain. That means it's pretty fresh. Pretty fresh, huh? It would have to be either from Seven, or it'd have to be from the killer, aka the one who has everyone trapped in the notary game. They find the big bruise and swiftly knock Togami out after he struggles and tries to get free. Which, good on them. So then we get an interesting backflash to K and Q. K talks about playing chess, which is an interesting thing to bring up, but one of the interesting things he said was, back before my incarceration, my colleagues were always too afraid to express their true opinions around me. while also talking about trying to protect the one lower than him. That kinda in a sense sounds like Togami. But Togami was never incarcerated, right? This is just... He was never incarcerated, technically, if you're not counting the enemy. But I have a different theory regarding this. Nico, you're not going to throw me off track with this. And he starts to explain different things. Oh, hold on. And he shows this mirror, which then wakes up Togami, and Togami sees Kameda. Kameda explains that he was there protecting him and that Kameda chained him up, and he's holding the knife that killed Seven. And that was stabbed into Seven, not killing him, but kind of, trying to get him to commit his forbidden act. So, Kameda said that, he didn't want to use it, but it's the only thing that was in the room. And that's pretty sad, honestly. So they get into a very good conversation. And I just showed you the next image, but they kind of decide, sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. They decide that the thing that Togami is trying to point out to Seven is actually something so basically they just decide it's actually something that is needed, which is actually it is something that is needed. And you'll find out later why it's needed. And it's very interesting, you don't really get much out of it. Sorry guys, I'm trying my best to think about this right now. But they solve it out. Commander gets a waffle, and then he sees this when he enters, and he says, "Oh no." And he gets hit with this poison after falling into despair. Togami then saves his life using a tourniquet and wrapping it around his arm and then chopping his arm off. Yeah, Togami cut his arm off while he was still paralyzed. And he asked him, "Where is the key?" And he gives him the key so he can unlock his shackles. And he goes to sleep. And Kameda said, Kameda believes that he didn't do it, and then asked where he was going, and he said he couldn't stay here. Nagito is probably not going to die, as it was stopped pretty early on before the poison reached him fully, and Togami didn't have to look at the dead body. Which then leads us to our friend Joshua, sadly. Joshua took the picture and he scratched off the image. He went into the room Monokuma and Donald are the same area as Monica and Donald after leaving the area where the groups had already been. So going in there, he takes a picture with him and he finds this room which has paint remover. He removes the paint and sees who's on the picture, only to hear something fall. He runs out of the room, and as he's running down the hallway, someone pushes him and he props himself against the wall. And that commits his forbidden action, touching a wall. We don't get that. I don't get that. None of my friends get that. Why his forbidden action is touching a wall. And it's just an interesting thing. It's just an interesting thing to see. You know, when you don't think that people would do this. And basically, we get to the point where Joshua slowly dies, and the killer takes the bracelet off, and Joshua sees who it is before dying from overcome with the poison, which leads us into the next episode, which it goes into a flashback of everyone talking and hearing what Tagami's forbidden action is, and then it goes into the amazing intro, which I'm going to analyze the intro real quick before I'm going to summarize the 7th episode. So yeah, let's get going. So basically, this is a picture of how the room is set up, and I find it weird that only the guys are here, and well, 2 of them are dead, 2 are alive, and then there's the judge. Could this mean something, or is this just a red herring for us? Could it mean that the judge is the judge of who survived and who dies? And so later in the episode, you'll find out about what happens to Monokuma, but also Seven is already dead. Which then we get a picture of this guy. Who is he? That is my number one question. Who is he? It gets on my nerves that I can't decipher who he is. And then we get this amazing picture, which I took as well. The video was playing, I had to stop it because, yeah. So we get a picture. It goes from Joshua looking at a picture or looking at Seven's body, and that's how we get the picture of him, and then it zooms out. So Seven's dead body's in the middle, Joshua's on the side, the trio are together, Tagami's on the side, Moshiri are on the side, and then Donald and Monokuma are there. The looks on the faces show different emotions. The shock looks of Mayuri, Nakito, Shiaki, even from Donald, show that they're shocked. They have no idea what's going on. Monokuma has a more sinister look. Mushirige and Tagami had that look as well, and so does Joshua. And I guess you could say that's because that's how they show shock, emotion, like how they show that they are basically, they're surprised. And Seven, he's dead. Just let the dead man rest. And then it brings us to this amazing image. So the opening, Break the Chains. Please go check it out. I got to watch it on YouTube. It's so good. I got to listen to it. There's some significance to this. There's a chain through Seven. But why isn't there a chain through Joshua yet? Joshua is dead, isn't he? It's strange. Maybe I just realized something. We'll get continuity with the Kameda thing, because if he gets his arm cut off, that means he can get the bionic arm that he gets in the anime, which is caused by him cutting off his arm because he worships Junko. Then we see this image. This image is a rare thing that I could get. I had to stop it pretty quickly just to get this image and take a screenshot of it, because that is so hard to get a picture of. And like, oh my god. It's so amazing that this is just like, this just looks amazing to me, and I love how he shows the masked figure watching the Council of Voices before he throws sleeping gas in there to knock everyone out, which I thought that when he was knocking everyone out and Seven just like sniffing the air pretty quickly, it's like, oh crap, and then passed out. Then I saw this image. What is Togami doing? Is this from when he cut off Kameda's arm, or is this an upcoming image? We don't know, but it looks so amazing, and I love this so much. I hope we get to find out what this is, or if it was just Kameda's arm getting cut off, then great, but I want to know. And then we get this image. This image is of the hand reaching towards Zero. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, and right after they grab his hand, the chain breaks. Which then gets me into this. So as the episode goes on, Mr. Yege almost left Miyu to die, Mary to die, and then he ends up fast walking because of Michael Jackson. Chiaki, the guy gets to Chiaki, we don't know what's happening to her, so I'll explain in the list in a second. And then Monokuma locks Donald in a container, saves his life because Donald was ready to die for him, and then he almost kills Donald. And then he goes off, he finds Joshua's body, and then goes into the room Joshua's in, and sees this image. The original 5 voices. Mickey, Mushirige, some anime girl, Slimy, and Slenderman. Who would be incarcerated out of this group? A lot of people in the comment section were saying it's Slimy. But I went back and I was looking through the footage, and he talks about Ebony tea. Who would drink Ebony tea out of this group? And I'm gonna guess it's someone out of this group, as they were the original voices who would have been here. Moshirige most likely knows about what this place is if he has any memory of it. And if he had his memory wiped, that would make sense of why he doesn't recognize anything. Or Moshirige is the one behind it. Who knows? But out of all of them, a lot of people are saying it's Slimy, because Slimy has a motive. Slimy was kicked out of the council the first episode. They were told, whoever K was talking to, whoever Q is, they're not human. And it makes them hard to eat. So who would this be? That would be Slenderman, because he has no mouth. It makes him hard to eat. It's hard for him to eat. Slimy has a mouth. The anime girl has a mouth. Mickey has a mouth. Mushirige has a mouth. But Slenderman doesn't. What could this mean? Well, that brings us into our theories. Yes, if you've stuck around for this long, I'm going to be mentioning some theories that me and my friends have come up with, as well as some other things. So the first theory I'm going to bring up is one that my friend brought up. His name is Blue, and he said that his theory is that Fulbright is a fake. Why that could be thought of that Fulbright was a fake is that he was late. That one little segment could say something because he could have stolen the files while being gone for so long, and he claims he had to use the restroom. That could obviously be a fake Fulbright, and it's weird to think about, but it makes sense. And could he be fake? Could he be real? We don't, honest to God, know what's happening. Another theory I'm going to bring up is one of my friend Will's theory that the forbidden action relates to the game or the person themselves. And so Donald being a mage, Seven, he's the muscle of the council. Nagato, he's already fallen into despair once and has a massive hope. Something, I'm not gonna say that. Togami, from a killing game where you had to be in the same room as this person to get to the body announcement. Also activity messed with crime scene. Mushrige, the main joke is he runs, and Joshua he couldn't figure out, and Monokuma laughs all the time. Sorry. But that leaves two people, Chiaki and Mayuri. Why were there only two girls here? That's my question. Why would he invite two girls? Are these Nico's favorite voices? Are these the fans' favorite voices? Which, if so, I'm gonna be very shocked that everyone likes Donald because Donald has done nothing. And I mean nothing. At least Chiaki's done something, Mayuri's done something. Everyone else has done something except for Donald. Donald has done nothing and is proven very useless. It just makes no sense. But this brings along to my theories, which are beautiful theories that I've come up with. So at first I was thinking maybe Slimy did it, but no, I'm more onto the lines that it was Slenderman, thanks to my friend Will. And the reason is because he's not human. Kay said it himself to Q, you're not exactly human. Which brings up the question, what is Q? And we hear this like beeping noise and like we can hear like them talking. What is Q exactly? If Q is saying something and he's like not an actual voice, that could mean he's more like Slenderman. No, it cannot be Mickey, and sadly to say, he can't be Mickey. Because Mickey is the form of Monokuma. Why would they be tall, even if it's Monokuma? The tallest person in that entire group was Slenderman, or whoever that character was. And he was not human. Now, there's also a theory for me that anyone who sees the body will die next. So whoever discovers the body first will die next. This has happened with Joshua. He found 7 bodies first, and then he died, and then Monokuma found his body, and then he died. Now there is something going on with Chiaki. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't know what's happened to her, but there's also a line that Kay said that was really peculiar for me. He said that they tried to isolate. It's better to travel in packs than to isolate someone. If they're isolated, that means they're easier to attack. Meaning that the only way the killer can attack is if the person's isolated. In those situations, Seven was isolated, Joshua was isolated, Chiaki's isolated, and Monokuma was isolated. And this brings me up to this theory. Chiaki might be alive along with Nagato. If I can tell you correctly, I don't think Nico is going to kill off Chiaki. Now, there is a reason why. Does he really want to see his waifu die for a second time? Or a third time? No, he doesn't. We all saw how he reacted in Danganronpa to the anime of the Spare arc. He reacted so badly in that one. In the end, it kind of gets you thinking. Everyone's going to think that Chiaki's going to die. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Chiaki's going to die. And if she is, there's going to be a way to bring her back. That's also another theory of mine that's what Project Eve was. Project Eve took place in where the Nonary game is, which was the place where Project Eve, or Eve, was developed. So they developed it in that one little space in the area, which then in return was scrapped. And Nico was the one who encouraged scrapping it, not the judge himself. Which also brings me to this theory. What if Nico's involved with everything? What if Zero is Nico? Wouldn't that make sense? Because how would they be able to watch the monitors on every single thing people are doing? It makes sense that it's Nico who is in control of this. But in the end, this is just theories, and if I'm on the right track, then great. But I also had this one theory. That the killer is killing anyone with a keycard. Joshua didn't have a keycard, per se. But he found out something he wasn't supposed to. So if you find out something you're not supposed to, or you find a keycard, you're gonna die. And that the last keycard is on the person who is killing everyone. Who's causing everyone to death. Meaning, he has a fifth keycard and is trying to get everything to escape. So the others can't, leaving them trapped there forever. Thus, the amount of rations. It's infinite. Allowing them to survive for days, or months, or weeks, or anywhere. Because Zero didn't intend on everyone to get killed. In fact, I don't think Zero had a hand in them dying. I do think that the person is related to Zero, but I don't think he wanted them to kill each other. More so, he wanted them to work together to fight the greater force, or warn them that there is a 10th person with them, which I think is very interesting to think about in the end. But hey, this is just my theories. If you guys want to support me, go to my Instagram at musicalmeloetta, my Twitter at musical_meloette, and please go subscribe to Nico's channel because Nico B, I love you, dude. You're awesome. I loved making theories, and this theory was like so hard to make. It took me so long because I was just reanalyzing everything, coming up with a lot of theories, and I don't even think I put all my theories into one episode. It was just like there was so much. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!